Guys, Tifa here with Fit Bully TV. This is a good conversation about Chris and I and us making sense of just the things that we go through on a day-to-day basis as we educate, teach, inform, and empower people to be the best dog owners possible. Do not worry at times about the end result when doing something. Worry about bettering everything. And if you bring value, as you saw in one of the other videos, hardest part for me to assess when coming back into the bully space was the value add. I forgot what I was going to write on this whiteboard because it was such a value exchange of Chris and I talking. So enjoy what you're about to listen to because it's full blown. It's full blown, honest, pure. It's him finding his voice and speaking up. I always said Chris, you got to speak up, man. You got a lot to say. And if you watch some of the first early videos of Chris, you see the uncertainty in the camera to a degree making him uncomfortable. Now go look at his page. Oh, he's comfortable now. He just warming up. It's like law-abiding citizen. When he drops to those knees and they handcuff him, and then he says, "Oh, I'm just warming up," because now we got something to do with our the rest of our life. Enjoy.
It doesn't have the correct balance of phosphorus and magnesium, it can either adversely affect or inadvertently affect, I guess is the word.
Yeah, there's two type of rickets, and one of them is I called Ruben and I said, "Where are you reading this from?" He said, "Oh, these are just my notes." And so he FaceTimed me because he literally took notes on every equation. Well, he found the equation in one of his physiology books, but he took notes on everything and broke it down. I go, whoo! I haven't recorded video.
There was an equation. I told you there was one.
Yeah. And it's technically, it's just 1-to-1. But here's the challenge where I know that, here's the challenge with even I think with the point that you were making is like, it varies. We don't have the information. So William Sheldon did a study on somatotypes. And what that means is, endo, ecto, meso, right? So when you start talking about breeds, there's skinnier bulldogs, there are bulkier bulldogs, there's muscle-bound bulldogs, right? And I remember when you told me even about Dax having the muscle gene per se, you go, all these variables still have yet to be studied innately, like in depth. So we don't know, because like one of your bulldogs that might be a massive grower, he might come out and just be a fucking ogre. He gonna need more phosphorus than the other dog, so the ratio might be 2-to-1.
Gotcha.
So,
yeah, the thing is, but without anything, that's when they get rickets. You know what I'm saying? Like when dogs, we try. I know as a a bully breeder, as in like in dogs that are overdone. Oh yeah, hurry up and grow, look badass. So I give them high protein, high calorie, high, obviously calcium food. And then what does that do? It gets their calcium, phosphorus, and magnesium out of balance.
That's interesting.
So that's why that that high protein, high fat content for puppies sometimes. And I'm gonna tell you what fixes it. It's gonna bullshit you now. Pedigree dog. You put them on a shitty ass dog food, they straighten right back up.
Now that's interesting.
So that's just, you know what I mean? But anyway, the other thing I was going to tell you is vitamin K. The best source of vitamin K that I found in dogs, for dogs, is kelp or seaweed, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, that's funny. I literally was on my story blending up a bag of dry seaweed the other day. So trust me, kelp is what I fed. It's one of the things that in the raw food, you kind of have to add kelp at least 3 to 4 times a week. And then literally seaweed, I mix it with, remember we talked about pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds? So I've got a concoction about a third of a cup I give everybody of sunflower seeds, pine nuts, pumpkin seeds that you can buy all from Sprouts, along with I blend up bags of seaweed and drop that in there too.
Yeah, seaweed's so fucking expensive though.
No. Guess what? Go to the Asian store.
Bruh, that shit's still expensive.
I have to look at the price next time. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't think it's that expensive at the Asian store because they sell it. They got it by the bag, man. Literally. Like, I think it's expensive if they concentrate it and put it in like a supplement. But like you go, I get that cracked, dry ass seaweed. I don't think it's that expensive.
It smell like assholes.
Man, look, I even tried it because you go, hey, can I eat this? I said, yeah, go ahead and try it, but don't taste good.
Yeah, because I mean that's why dogs eat grass. They're trying to get vitamin K, from what I've read.
Yeah, no, vitamin K, literally, it says it in Dr. Connor Brady's book. These are the stuff that I'm like, that's why I said, I think between all of us, and definitely myself and you, who's getting into that space where you're putting out good stuff, the more stuff we can provide, just to challenge talk, because people still wouldn't know how to make it make sense. So they go, well, what does that mean? Because the lack of vitamin K is why they eat poop even sometimes.
Hey, what is Ruben's commented a few times on a few of my videos. What did he tell you? Did he say anything to you about it?
Yeah, I think he said something. He says, man, Trevor, I commented on such and such. He has to be mindful. He says, I didn't want to come off. I said, no, he's not. He told me to call you a second ago. That's why I'm calling now. I said, Ruben, you got to remember, I think even for me, and he just wants, in his mind, he don't comment on people's stuff, but if he knows you, he's like, he wants us all like to be like right per se, or as close to scan. Yeah. I said, Ruben, you got to remember, we got 90 seconds. So sometimes people on my shit, well, you got to remember all these other things. And I'd be like, if I had the time, I've seen it once or twice and I don't see it anymore. I'd be like, oh, you're right. But I'd just be like, it's my journey, my pace. I've written out literally a whole fucking plan. I ran literally, I kid you not, I was in the whelping box about to write on the blackboard. I said, oh shit, I had my watch on Chris's call. I had to jump out of here because I don't even have my phone on me like that. If we're shooting this right now. we're shooting for 2 to 3 hours a day, and that's not including the phone stuff. So we get Pet Achievers, we're getting the YouTube done. Then we, like I said, I told him, I said, I'll be calling you and Chris at least twice a week now. I said, we just left the, I think Hunter called me, we were walking into the manufacturer, getting that stuff squared away. I said, the next 90 days are critical for what I'm trying to achieve and making sure there's enough product. We talked the numbers for the alfalfa powder, which he can scale. You get a 3.5 container, which we boost the price up. So he does that just because he wants us to be as close to can as we write, but he's got to, I said, he's got to remember, content's king. The reels are which they push. That's 90 seconds is the best viable option. So if anything, I'm consolidating one line out of a paragraph like a pastor in church, hit them in their mouth. They're going to tell me every other problem they committed to, but while they're commenting, Ruben, I told them, I said, remember, they running a checkup. All them comments keep the video viable. So if you look at my average video, which we just did today, I don't even check the reels, but my average video is anywhere between 20 and 30,000 plus views.
Gotcha. Yeah, see, I don't know any of this stuff, and I ain't trying to be a vet, and I keep expressing that I'm not a vet, but I want people to be able to have, when you go to the doctor and they say, yeah, you got cancer, you don't want to feel just hopeless. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, that's the truth.
What kind of cancer? What is it from? How can I do this? Is there anything I can? You know what I mean? These are all the questions that are going through your head at that moment. So when you hear the things like pyometria, oh, hey, there is an option. I heard there's an option. I don't know exactly what, but I heard there's an option somewhere that I can fix it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And that's critical because I think I did a live with a buddy of mine. His name is actually Chris, and unfortunately he had a female he bought for $8,000 that had a grade 4 heart murmur. So the vets, when she had open pyometria, when they found she had it, they go, look, we can't put her under because of her bad heart to fix it, so you just need to put her down. And he was like, no. So he used the drugs they gave, some manuka honey, and then some vitamin C. And he said, I kid you not, she's fine. But they would like put a $8,000 dog down that I don't ever get to use. And I didn't think there was any other options. And it had him stressed out because he's taken so many L's per se in the space. But guys like you and even him who've tried to find another way out, if you would, to keep the dog alive, that's what makes vibe. I literally told the guys today, when I was talking to him, I said, I showed him, he says, man, that digestive enzyme, that one you talked about from that one company. And he said, that's interesting. Let me see that one again. And he wrote the name down. I said, guys like Chris and Ruben, they're the people who are very valuable, and I don't think they know their value yet. Me, I know how to turn it all to a business. I said, so every time they tell me something, I'm thinking, well, if you spending that much over 20 years, then we could sell triple that.
Yeah, I'm not trying to, the funny thing is I've had a lot of people inbox me and ask me for the medications. One, I am not a veterinarian. I don't get you medications. I'm giving you information that you can ask your veterinarian. Hey, I have a closed pyometry. I heard that you can give them Ludalace to open up the cervix. Is that true? I mean, he has to look it up, or he has to tell you yes or no. I mean, that's the only three things. That's the three options he can. Yeah. Oh, it's a really dangerous medication. It is. I mean, the minute after 20 minutes after getting the injection, man, freaking dog starts. You know, I've seen many a dogs survive it and get pregnant the next time.
Oh shit! See what I'm saying?
You know, I've seen it work. I'm not telling people something that I've never seen work. I'm telling people things that I physically have seen with my own 2 eyes.
Hey, and that's the part too where I was telling them today, and even like we talked about that brokerage firm for dogs, and per se, let's say I tag an extra 500 because people don't know always how to market or do the things. So they're like, Jamarcus asked, well, who would you use? I said, Chris will send me a bulldog, Max Tran will send me a fucking Central Asian Shepherd, and everybody else, unless I have the dogs, I become an advocate per se. And my point is, same thing. When you're using stuff and you've seen it work, and maybe you don't know how it works even sometimes, you go, that's valuable. People trust me because they're watching everything work and go wrong. And I post everything. I ain't got nothing to hide. None of y'all can reach out and touch me. So if there's anything we could do, and I'll be very frank in saying, as I always say, hey, 45 South Bulls, Detox died. We didn't get a video about that. Everybody wants you to feel bad for their dog, but what about all the dogs that were potentially bred that way, bred to that dog? You know, Zara's dad died at 5 years old. I got 3 dogs, so everybody's dad was dead about before 5, and nobody talked about what went wrong. Matter of fact, they won't even say. And I even asked the breeder of Zara, I said, hey, did so-and-so ever tell you what happened to Kane? He said, nah, bro, he ain't say nothing. He wouldn't really go into detail. Well, the more we know, the better we could do. So the gist of it is you want what's best for people, and likewise. And we don't know everything, as I keep repeating to everybody, but if we can help open their mind, because people don't even know. Back when I was doing fitness, people would ask me to go to physical therapy, and they would ask me to go to their orthopedic appointments with them, because when the doctor's talking about the shoulder or the knee or the lower back, they don't fucking know what's going on. And I'd be like, so why don't you just do this? And they'd be like, oh, I never thought about it like that. Well, isn't that how the muscle works here? And they're like, yeah, in that position that you're putting her in, going to continue to stress the knee and she's going to tear up. I guess that makes sense. Does the meniscus not regulate the pressure between the femur and tibia? So why would you strain it if there's no blood vessel? They'd be like, so it's like having a lawyer there with you the whole time. and it make them feel safer, because one thing about injury, as you know, one injury leads to another injury. Well, how do we prevent that from happening? Well, education, right? And then if you're not educated, you keep giving them thousands and thousands of dollars, losing your heart, your mind, your will, and your body, atrophy in the muscle. You're in pain. You can't go hiking, go on vacations, because real pain will set your ass down, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's the point.
That shit will put you to sleep.
Hey, it's in the movie. You get beat to death. That's a real statement. Like, that nigga got beat to death. His body said, we're done. We can't even deal with this level of pain anymore. They don't know how real that shit is.
I know that I was talking to Gina yesterday. I said, man, if I don't be careful, I am probably going to have, veterinarians or somebody going to start coming after me, because some of the stuff that I'm saying, I can make heart guard, liquid heart guard. It's in the fucking book how to make it. Yeah, the book's sold on Amazon at the end of the day. The stuff that you're doing, like some of that stuff, beyond a reason without sold on Amazon, but I also think it's important to raise the bar and force them to think more. Dr. Karen Becker did a video with the doctor who was crucified. And I mean, Banfield came in, bought his stuff. He wasn't going to over-vaccinate. And he's like, I'm not going anywhere. They were like, oh, you're going. And they put him out. And then they tried to sue him because he was passing out stuff when they was doing stuff at like PetSmart. And and that was 7 years ago, man. There are some vets who learned the hard way how to improve longevity as far as the dog's life is concerned. And as they go against the grain, kind of like, people like Dr. Sebi, whoever the case may be, here the big guys come because it cuts into their bottom line. So when you... Yeah, and I know that, my guy in Texas told me, hey, Chris, you're going to have to be careful, man. It ain't me, but you know what I'm saying? Some people, you're gonna ruffle a bunch of feathers doing this.
Well,
I'm not trying to ruffle feathers. What I need to do is, you have the upper hand as a veterinarian. Why can't I be on the same playing field? And his answer was, I went to school for 8 years. And I said, I ain't trying to be disrespectful, but I can read the same fucking book that you can read.
Hey.
The only difference between college and me reading the book that you read for 8 years is you had somebody in front of you giving you assignments.
Chris, look, I'm going to tell you right now. For one, you got a dog in you. This is part of the dog you got to let out. Somebody tell me that. I said, no, I'm going to pluck their fucking feathers. That's the whole point, because things have to change. And you're right? I went into a gym one time in Tomahawk Community Center. This girl gave K-State $40,000 for a degree in kinesiology and didn't know half of what I know. She said, how'd you learn all this? I said, I just read all the books you guys read in a day. And that's the truth. I sat at Edwin Birch's table and read for 8 hours. And I compared all information across the line. And that's how I figured out the hips. So in one of the top books, it says your hips are your control center. And your back is an extension of your hips. So I go, Then you just, common sense says, no wonder when I lean forward, my back hurts after a while. No wonder bending is a fucking punishment in certain countries. No wonder when people bend over and pick up something 10, 15, 20, they throw their back out. Your back's exposed. So the back then should probably stay straight in all movements, which means cars tear our backs up. The way we sit tear our backs up. Getting in and out of stuff, that degeneration takes place over time. You start studying at what age do injuries really set in. 100 million people suffer back problems. I start going down a rabbit hole and just using common sense with their basic information. I said they studied all these fucking L4, L5, CV4, CV5, which is top part of the neck. And all I did was read the stuff and make sense of it, communicate it so that a 5-year-old could repeat it and challenge it. And Dan said one time, he said, Trevor, you know a lot. I said with the top orthopedic surgeons, we're going to find you in a barrel one day. I said, well, they better bring an army. Because they...
every time I when they say me stuff like that, I just think of that movie Good Will Hunting. And then motherfucker says, you like apples? How you like them apples? Like, he gets the chick's phone number. You know what I mean? He was trying to show off his degree, and he knew everything he knew just by going. He said you can get the same education for 15 cents at the damn local library.
Yeah, and that's your prison attorneys per se. The Negroes been sitting up there reading all the stuff, and even I did a video where the guy said, "Man, thank you for so much free game." I said, y'all do know it's all free, right? All you gotta do is read. I'm not telling you nothing that you can't find yourself. Part of it is experience, but all the books, I mean, literally, you test the theory, you apply the information, you say, that didn't really work for me, might work for another dog. I said, but it's all free game. Everything the lawyers have, you can buy all their books if you want. There is no place that prevents you from buying every book of law. It's not, which is why even dumbasses try to represent themselves sometimes. They're like, I'm going to go in here and convince the jury that I'm innocent. You're like, nigga, you might have should have read a few more books, but good job, nigga. Good try. But you going in. You going to...
Hey, yo, Judge, listen. I gotta say, my man, just stop.
Hey, he's ruined, my man. That motherfucker ruined. He's like, bro.
Get just like a man and read while you're in that motherfucker.
Hey, thanks, bro. You better go back and read a few more. But look, I definitely, here's the way you got to think too. As you continue to grow and we build this business, you won't have to argue with anybody, because here's respectfully how I look at it. A vet's a vet. And no disrespect to any vet. I appreciate Dr. Barnett, and I'm sure you're thankful for yours. But if we don't raise the bar, the beauty about it is having the funds to change things. When you can do something like a Jeff Bezos or an Elon Musk and just go buy shit. You say, hey, I don't like the way this system works.
Just think about this. Just think about this one thing. HeartGuard medicine. 6 fucking tablets is literally like, we'll just say $100.
Oh, I know.
For $100, for $100, I can make 1,000 mLs of HeartGuard. And 1,000 mLs of HeartGuard can literally do my entire yard of 35 dogs for like 3 or 4 months.
See what I'm saying? That's
for $100. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, I know.
For $100, I would literally only be able to treat 6 dogs their way.
Hey, look, I'm. When you told me that,
I can literally treat 100 dogs my way.
Yeah. No, I get it, my friend, but that's the power of information, and unfortunately, there are very few people who are far in between, like us, who have to solve problems. Who like, yo, I'm not spending that money. I always look at it like this. I'm not spending all that damn money.
I do know if I word it incorrectly, like Ruben is saying, I do know that HeartGuard will come after me because HeartGuard is a name brand.
Yeah, they might come after you, but there's nothing they can do about it because you have freedom of speech and you're not telling anybody the increments and stuff. You're putting perspective and showing the books. Like, what are they going to do? Like, oh, we no longer can sell the book. It's like, it's in the book. All you saying is in the book you can save money. Realistically, that's the gist of your message isn't, guys, this is what you do. This is how you mix it. This is what you do all the time. Make sure you don't give it to your dogs until they're 8 weeks. Every 3 months. Worst case scenario, every two months, at least give your dog some HeartGuard to manage the ovums and such. Like, ovums of worms per se. It's not as, and that'd be like somebody coming after somebody who's promoting or saying, hey, This is what you do with Advil. You know, it's already sold. It's already visible. When I looked up and bought the ivermectin off of Amazon along with the Pyrantel, you go, these motherfuckers sell everything. And when you said this is the exact ones you need, it's nothing to argue anymore. Like, if I can make this at the crib, save me some money, take care of my yard, add it to their food, give it to them in liquid form, not pay the vet for that fancy box for them 6 motherfucking tablets, that's $600 saved a year.
Oh yeah, that's more than $600.
That's my point, though. It's more than that, especially if you got as many dogs as you got, for damn sure. And even the 5 that I got, 5 or 6 in here. That's a lot of dogs, man. That's a lot. That's a lot of dogs to be giving some heart guard. That ain't like they need this much. How many times? Oh, fuck that. So, but the saving, great businesses. All you got to think, everything you do, if it solves a problem or lowers a cost, you've done something right. That's why business is out of necessity, and right now, it is necessary that things change. I know that with respect to Dr. Karen Barrick and others, they've done a good job, but their voices aren't big enough yet. Still,
Gotcha.
It's like goodwill. It's like they're doing it off of goodwill.
Even my vet techs are sharing my videos.
I know, bro. I know. Look, you brought value to them. You taught your vet reproduction and some other stuff, and it was an exchange of medicine and stuff. So you go, it was all wins for you, my friend. And look, I told you that value, as it continues to accrue, if you would, or go up, anything that we put out there is going to scale because it comes from a good place. Authenticity is the one thing that I was betting on more than anything specific to you and everybody. Everybody's got a little passion about what it is they do. And I literally just did a video for YouTube talking about when I spent the year looking up all these videos and stuff. I found one guy out of all the American Bully videos on YouTube through Documentary TV, and that was Fred Duran's passion for the bully, It was a consistency in 3 videos that connected with me, which is why I reached out immediately after the 3rd video I watched. Authenticity I can scale. I can't scale niggas trying to get over on people or trying to get rich quick. I just can't. You can't scale that. It's enough broke people trying to be rich and rich people trying not to be seen.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I know that I knew what Ruben. I know his intention was. I know it. And I know that it's going to come out of the woodworks eventually. You know what I mean? I know that. That's why I told my wife, and I would tell Ruben the same thing. Listen, I'm not reading the comments. I don't really.
No.
Because everybody's going to be a skeptic, or everybody's going to have a different. Just like the potty powder, we posted and everybody like, oh, that's just ground up alfalfa. Now, fuck, if you read the bottle, it says that. Like, we ain't trying to hide that.
No, we shrunk wrap something because you don't want to carry. When I look at the people going in and out of Lowe's and all this stuff, you don't want to shrink wrap. You don't want to go in and buy a bag of alfalfa, so it's in a container now. That's what businesses do.
You don't want to build a fucking shed, so you buy them pre-built.
There you go. Exactly, my friend, and that's good. A business solution. But that's another thing. That's why I said I ain't read a comment in so long. It pop up when I'm uploading, like it'll drop from the top. You see one, I'll be like, fools. Because I'll just remember, 95% of these people ain't never gonna come in contact with me. It's just not even probable. It's like I'm never going to, like, even when I was telling Joe, I said, think about it like this. Jay-Z does a dinner once a year everybody goes to. I can't justify going to hang out with Jay-Z. He's got nothing that I need. So we get it. We become the biggest dog people in the world. I ain't going to his concert. All right, go ahead. So if you just heard, there's so much power in information. There's so much power in value. There's so much power in having the right people around. I've said before, and I'll make sure that I might put this on the board. There's Stan, Jamarcus, Ruben, Chris, advisors, investors, workers per se, and investors as well, because they're investing their heart and soul and their mind into this dog thing. And it takes a lot of everything for all 4 of us to work together and build this whole thing out. Objectively, there's only 4 people I should be talking to. And then we have our manufacturer. We have all the books that we're reading. But outside of those 4 to 5 people, and the 81 people, I don't have my other phone with me, but there's 80 plus people in our pet achievers. I now am responsible, me personally, for Chris, Ruben, Jamarcus, Stan, and 81 plus people and their success in relation to both either the dog business, the dog space, being a pet parent, being a better breeder, learning about nutrition. I'm now responsible for almost 100 plus people's goals and just everything. So when you hear that conversation with Chris, there was a time when Chris wasn't sure about even doing the social media thing or talking in front of the camera about stuff. Now, not only is he making an attempt, not only has he seen the value, not only has he seen the opportunity, not only is he getting better every post, but I think as we keep working together, we're going to change the whole thing. And I don't say that without reverence. Reverence means respect, people. Respect to everyone who's on whatever path they're on. I told the guys when I met them, I said, you guys could be the difference in what happens next in this whole dog world. Not the dog community, the dog world. So stay tuned, take care of your dogs, people. Like, subscribe, and share. Make sure you have a team of people who are solid as a rock. And don't forget, if you get knocked to the rock, for those that believe in God or have that type of faith, don't forget he put it there so you can stand up again. Again, he knocked me to the rock, and Ayana saved my life. She said, I hate that she said it. I wish I'd come up with it first, but I didn't. She said, sometimes you got to hit rock bottom just so you can be reminded that God made the rock for you to stand on and build even stronger foundation. Learn a little bit more about yourself. Take care of your dogs. Learn as much as you can about your dogs. Spend time with your dogs, and keep loving your dogs.